In this video, we'll discuss the various ways to add students to your WebWork course, and also how to remove students. This video is not for anyone using Desire to Learn and Single Sign-On. If you are using Single Sign-On, there is a separate video in this series for that topic. The class list editor in the navigation panel on the left is where you directly control who is in your WebWork course. At first, you will only see several administrator accounts along with your own instructor level account. First, note that you can use the Add tab to add any number of students one at a time. You need to enter their last name, first name. A student ID number should be their G number. Their login name should be the same that they use for accessing My PCC. And their PCC email address is probably the email address you would like to use. Each entry can have a section, recitation, and comment field. We don't tend to use sections and recitations here at PCC. The comment field is where you could leave some comment, maybe that student registered on Monday of week 2 or some detail like that. When you're ready, click to add students. You'll receive a message saying that that student or those students have been entered. If you return to the class list editor, you should see those individuals present. Now, this is not a good way to enroll all 30 or so of your students when the term begins. For that, you should go through the following process. In My PCC, access the Faculty tab. Down in the Faculty Tools menu, access Summary Class List. Select the term that you're interested in and the course that you're interested in. If you scroll down, you'll see a list of all your registered students, and if you scroll all the way down, you will see a link to Download Roster. This will download your course roster in an Excel file. Open that file, and you should see a list similar to this one here. Delete columns A through D, which do not carry information we need to bring over to WebWork. Delete columns D, E, F, G, H, I, leaving you with G numbers, names, and email addresses. Delete the top header row. Highlight columns C, D, E, F, G, that's 5 columns, and insert columns to create 5 blank columns. Now what we want to do next is separate first names from last names. They come with a semicolon in between them in the second column. If you highlight that column, go to Excel's Data Management tab, and use the Text to Columns tool. Select Delimited, and you can choose to separate columns based on a semicolon presence. If I finish, we see the first names and last names are now separated. In column D, enter the capital letter C and copy all the way down. This will indicate that that student is currently enrolled. Columns E, F, and G are for section, recitation, and comment as discussed. Copy column H into column I. And what we want to do here is leave the email addresses in column H, but in column I, throw away the @pcc.edu. You can once again use text to columns, delimited mode, to make an ampersand, the text delimiter, the column delimiter, tossing all those pcc.edus into the next column where you are then free to delete them. Column J, we're going to leave blank. In column K, enter 0 and copy that all the way down. This column is the permissions level of the user. A 0 corresponds to a student, a 10 would correspond to an instructor, -5 to a guest, and there are many other categories in between. When this is all done, save the file as, not an Excel workbook, no, save it as a comma-separated value file. Save it in a place where you can find it, and then return to WebWork. In the File Manager, you now want to upload the comma-separated value that you just created. You can browse and then click to upload. Locate that file in your File Manager, and we need to rename it. It came with a .csv extension, but we need to give it a .lst for list. Use the Rename tool to rename it .lst, and we're ready to return to the class list editor. This time, instead of using the Add tab to manually add students, we'll use the Import tab. In this drop-down list, you have .lst files from your file manager, and find the one that we just created. You want to not replace anybody accidentally. We want to add all the users that are in that list, and when I take action, all of those users have been added. Now, one last related topic for this video. You may wish to remove students from your WebWork course shell. There are two situations in which you would do that. One is if the student removes themselves from the class very early within the first week. For those students, you would use the Delete tab, select them, choose to delete selected users. You have to go through many safeguards to not accidentally delete somebody, and that person will be deleted. This is not what you should do when a student withdraws halfway through the term. For those students, you can go to the Class List Editor's Edit tab, checkbox the student, and click Take Action to edit their details. Change their status from enrolled to drop. This is better than deleting the student from the course. Once you delete a student, you will lose all data from answers they had submitted over the course of the term. By dropping them, you preserve access to that data if it ever should be needed. That concludes this video. If you are interested in single sign-on through Desire to Learn, you might check out the video that covers that topic. Or you might move on to the next video in our series, which discusses activating default problem sets.